Hi guys, welcome to my channel Rais Ahmed Cyber Education. In today's video we are going to learn how to perform deletion and modification in binary files. So let's go ahead and learn how to perform these operations in binary file. Now to perform binary operation on a file, the first thing that we need to do is to import pickle module. So we are going to import pickle module in our code. Import pickle. Pickle module is used to perform binary operation. The second module that we'll be needing is OS module. To perform some operating system related function, we'll be using this file or this module. Now in the next step, we open the file students.dat using open method of file handling in Python. We are opening this file in write mode, binary mode. WB stands for write mode, binary mode, and the file handle will be provided to file1 file object. We are taking a choice variable, that is choice is equal to, and we have initialized it on capital Y. Now this choice variable is used to keep on adding records till we want in our file. That means it's up to the user. If the user wants to add 5 records, the loop will run till 5 times, or the user wants to add 10 records. So depending upon the choice of the user, this loop will execute and will keep on adding the record. So the loop starts. We are using while loop, while choice dot upper is equal to capital Y. Now the upper method of string is used. This upper function is going to convert our smaller case letter into capital one. So choice dot upper means if we enter small y, that small y will be converted into capital Y, and we will be able to make the comparison. We are creating a blank dictionary. In the binary file, the data that we are going to write will be in the form of dictionaries. This dictionary is going to contain some key value pairs. What will be those key value pairs? Now let's see. Our first key will be roll number. The second key will be name. Third key will be marks, and fourth key will be class. So we are going to have these 4 key value pairs. The values will be provided at runtime dynamically by the user. So we have started a nested loop, for loop for I in range 1 to 5. So this loop will execute for 4 times. What we are going to do in this loop, we are going to take the values for the keys and values at runtime. So key is equal to eval input enter key. So the first key that we are going to enter is roll number. Second key, then we are going to enter the value for this roll number. So let's say the roll number is equal to 1. Then the next statement, D key, that means for this dictionary at roll number key, we will add this value 1, and this key value pair will be added to dictionary. Now in the next pass of for loop, we are going to add name, let's say Rais. The value will be Rais. For marks, then in the next pass we are going to add key marks. Let's say marks are 75. Then in the next pass we are going to add class. Let's say class is equal to 12th. So we are going to add these key value pairs. Once we have added these key value pairs for roll number key, roll number is 1. Then for name it will be race. Then for marks it will be 75, and for class it will be 12. Once this dictionary is created, we are going to write this dictionary using the dump function of pickle module, pickle.dump, and now this is out of for loop. So once the for loop has ended, we will dump this dictionary into the file, or we'll write this dictionary into the binary file. So D stands for our dictionary and it will be written into file 1. This is what we have done. Now here in the next line we are again going to ask the choice of the user whether the user wants to add one more record in the file or not. If the user presses Y either in capital or small, the while loop will execute again and the same process will be repeated. Again we will enter roll number, name, marks, class. A new dictionary will be created. In that new dictionary we are going to add new values of key value pairs, and then we will write that dictionary into the file. So this process will keep repeating till we enter Y, capital or small y, in our choice variable. So here choice is equal to input, enter choice. So till we enter small or capital Y, this loop will keep repeating. Once we enter any other letter, for example N or any other letter, this loop will terminate. And once this loop terminates, we are going to close this file. So this file will be closed. Now in the next process we are going to display the data that we have stored in the file. To display the data we are using file1 variable, open method, students.dat. File will be opened and this time it will be open in read mode, binary mode, because we are going to read the data. Data is equal to pickle.load. The load method is used to load the data from the file and store it into the data. In one time only one dictionary will be loaded and will be stored in data. We need to access all the dictionaries stored in the file and display them. So for that purpose we are going to use a loop to access or load the data one by one. Here we are going to use try block. Now this is for exception handling. Why we are going to use it, I'll explain in a moment. So try, within try we are going to run the loop while data. Now this loop will keep executing till we find data inside the file. Let's say we have 5 records. We are going to find the data for 5 times. But what will happen the 6th time? The 6th time there will be no data present inside the file because all the data has been loaded into the data variable. So when the 6th time we are again trying to load the data, whereas the data has ended in the file, an exception will be generated. Now that exception will be handled by try block and it will prevent our program from being terminated abnormally. So here you can see we are using load method to load the next record and store it in data. And when the data is loaded, we are going to print it. So once the data is loaded, our control will go back to data while condition, while data. If there is data present inside the data variable, we are going to print it. But if there is no data present, since all the records have been exhausted, what is going to happen? An exception is going to be generated. Now that exception is going to be handled by this try and except block. When an exception arises, the except block will execute, and we are going to display a message, a user-friendly message, that is end of file has reached. Instead of the program getting terminated abnormally, we are going to display this message to our user and the program continues. And once all our records are being displayed, we'll close the file. Now this portion of the program that we have done will be used for writing the data into the binary file and opening the binary file and displaying the data. The next portion of our program is actually going to perform the deletion operation. Let's see how this deletion operation can be performed. To perform the deletion operation, we are again going to open students.dat in read mode this time, read mode, binary mode, and store it in file 1. We are going to open one more file, that is temporary file. This file will be opened in write mode, binary mode. We have given it a name temp, you can give it any name. This file handle will be provided to file 2. So we have opened two files. One file is students.dat, which contains our records, and another file is temporary file, in which we are going to write the records. Now how we are going to write the records, that is important. So let's say I want to delete the record of the student with roll number 3. So I'm going to take this roll number as input from the user in our number variable. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this students.dat file one by one, record by record. So let's say I have read first record. In first record, roll number is equal to 1. I'm going to compare this roll number with the roll number that I have entered at runtime. If they do not match, like in this case the first roll number read is 1 and the roll number I want to delete is 3. If they do not match, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write this record in temp file. This is my temp file. I'm going to write this record in temp file. So record number will be 1 will be written to temp file. Then I'm going to read the next record. The next record is record number 2. Again the roll numbers does not match, so this roll number 2 will be returned to temp file. Then roll number 3, this time the roll number matches, and when the roll number matches, I will not write this record in the temp file. I'm not going to write this record in the temp file, rather I'll display a message that this record is deleted. I'll simply display a message. Then I'll read next record, roll number 4. Now roll number 4 again does not match with roll number 3, so it will be written into the temp file. Then roll number 5. Roll number 5 will again not be matched with roll number 3, so this record will also be written into temporary file. So, or by the end of this reading process, we have written roll number 1, 2, 4 and 5 in the temporary file. Now you can see that roll number 3 that we want to delete is not written in this file. Now this suggests, or this will give you an illusion that the roll number 3 has been deleted. Now let's see what piece of code we are going to write for this. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to enter this roll number 3. Roll number 3 will be entered. Now roll number 3 is entered, and we are going to load the data from file 1 into data variable. So from students.dat the data will be loaded into data variable. Only the first record is loaded. and I'm going to use the try block again for the same reason. So try. Within try, I'm going to keep on accessing each and every record. So while data, the loop will keep on running. Now here I'm going to check if the roll number in the dictionary or roll number present in the data variable is equal to the roll number whether we have that we have entered at runtime or not, that we want to delete, that is roll number 3, whether it is equal to this roll number or not. If it is true, I'm just displaying a message that data is deleted from the file. If it is false, that means if the roll number does not match, I'm going to dump this data using pickle.dump method into file 2, and this file 2 is temp file that we have created. So in file 2 the data will be dumped. Again I'll load the next set of next record from the file 1, that is students.dat, and again it will be compared, and this process will keep on repeating as I have explained it here. So this, once all the records have been exhausted, again we are going to display a message end of file reached, so that our program does not terminate abnormally. We will close the file 1 and we will close the file 2. Both the files are closed. Now our deletion operation has been performed successfully, but the records with deleted record, the data with deleted record is written in temp file, and we want to give an illusion to the user that it is not temp file, it is the student's file in which the record has been deleted. So what we are going to do, let's see. We are going to remove the students.dat file. This is the original file, students.file. We are going, and this remove function belongs to OS module that we have imported. So using os.remove function, we will delete the file or remove the file students.dat, and using rename function of the OS module, we are going to rename temp to students.dat. So the temporary file that we have created has now become a students.dat file. We have renamed that file. Now we are going to open this new students.dat file that was earlier temp in read mode binary mode, store it in file 3, and then like previously we have displayed the records, we will display the data. Okay, so now in this program we are going to perform the modification in a binary file. The process is pretty much similar to the process of performing deletion operation. We are going to import pickle module, we are going to import OS module, we are going to write the data in the binary file. I'm telling you from the beginning, right from the scratch. So we are going to create a binary file like we have created earlier. You can also use the same file that you have created in the previous program to perform the binary operation. In that case, you will not be required to write this piece of code, which was same as the previous one. So this piece of code is used to create the binary file and display the data of that binary file. So there is no difference in this code and the previous code, this part of the previous code and this code, and the code that we have written now. The difference lies in the second part, that is performing modification in the binary file. How we can do that? Pretty much much of the code of performing modification is similar to the deletion code. So let's see, we have opened students.dat in file 1, we have opened temporary file in file 2, both are in binary mode. In file 1 the file is opened in read mode binary mode. In file 2 temporary file is opened in write mode. Again we are going to enter the roll number whose data we are going to modify this time. That means we are going to make changes in the data. So I'm going to take the data the data is loaded using the load method of the pickle module. The data is loaded into data. Again, try block started. Now within this try block, I'll use while loop to keep on accessing each and every record. Now when the first record is accessed, again the roll numbers will be checked, compared, just like the previous code. We'll print the original data that we have accessed, and if the data matches, that means if the roll number matches, we'll display the data. And then what we are going to do, we are going to enter new set of data. So we are going to enter the class, the section, and these two things we are going to modify. Rest of the things we are leaving same. Then once this data has been entered, the fresh data has been entered, we are going to write this data in file 2. So let's say I want to modify roll number 3. This is my roll number that I have entered at runtime. Now the roll number of the dictionary or the binary file will be matched against this 3. So let's say the first roll number is 1, it does not match, so we go into the else part and we will dump the record as it is into file 2. So in file 2 the record will be written as it is. Then next record read is roll number 2. Now when the roll number 2 is read, it will be written, the roll numbers will be compared with each other and will be returned into the temporary file as it is. Then roll number 3, when roll number 3 is written, the roll numbers are matched, they are compared with each other, the roll numbers are matching, and this if block record is going to execute. So we are going to enter new class in section, and then we are going to write this data. We are going to write this modified data into file 2. So roll number 3 is also written but with modified records. And then record 4 will be read. It will be written as it is to the file. Record 5 is going to be read and it will be going to be written into the temporary file as it is, file 2 as it is. So once this process is over, this is the same code. When all the records have been read, checked and have been written into the second file, once all the records are exhausted, we are going to display this message, end of file reached, and then we'll close this file 1 and file 2. And rest of the process is same as the deletion one. We are going to remove the students.dat file, the original one, and we are going to rename the temp file is into students.dat, and this is file 3. In file 3 we are going to open the students.dat file in read mode, binary mode, and we are going to display the data. And when you display the data, you can see that the records modified are appearing in this file. So friends, this is how we perform deletion and modification in binary file. Let's see the program's execution. Now the next part that we are going to do is going to check our programs whether they are working fine or not. Now I might have said marks and class section in the previous part, but this is what we have, class and section. So it doesn't matter whatever data we are going to write, that we have to see modification and deletion. So let's see these programs in action now. So this is a program in IDLE of Python. Let's run this program. This is the program of deletion. I'm going to run this module, run this program, and let's enter the key. The first key was roll number, and I must use these double quotes because we are using eval method to enter the data at runtime. Then key 1, then name, let's say name is race, then the next key, that is class is, let's say 12, then section, and the section is, let's say A. Do you want to add another record? Let's add 5 records in this binary file. Yes, I've entered small y and you can see that it has taken my choice. Enter key. So again, roll number 2, name, let's say Nadir, then class 12th, and section, let's say V. Capital Y I am entering this time. Enter key, roll number 3, key, the next key name, value Umair, then next key class, next key section C. Yes, this is going to be my 4th record. So enter key, roll number 4, name Amir, class 12th, section B. Yes, roll number 5, key name Adid, key class 12th, section B. So 5 records are written. I am going to press N for no, and you can see that these records have been written to my binary file. Now the next portion is enter the roll number you want to delete. So I am going to enter 3, and you can see the deletion has been performed. Roll number 3, name Umair, class 12, section C deleted from file, and then the new file is opened and these 4 records are displayed. So this is the code of deletion. Now let's see how to perform modification. Modification is pretty the same as a deletion. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to replace this portion of code, only this much, with the modification codes. That's it. So try, you can see while data, if data roll number is equal to roll number, and here I'm going to modify the message, the record we want to modify. So, and again, since we have already created the binary file, I am not going to use, I'm going to delete this portion. I'm going to delete this portion where I have written the records, because this file has already been created. So I'm just going to show you the modification part. We are not going to create the students file again from the scratch. So we'll open the students.dat file, we'll open the temp file, we'll enter the roll number to be modified. Now let's remember that there are 4 records present in the file now. 4 records, because one we have already deleted. So let's save this program and run it. I'm going to run this program. Enter the roll number you want to modify. So let's say I want to modify roll number 3 is already deleted, so we cannot modify roll number 3. I want to modify roll number 4. This is the original data of roll number 4, name Amir, class 12, section B. So let's enter new class for Amir. We can enter 12 if you want to leave the second class as it is, or let's see whether it changes or not. So I've entered 11 and enter new section for Amir, and I'll enter C. So I'm changing the class to 11 and section to C. And again we have accessed the record, and you can see here roll number 4 Amir, class 11, section C. Original data was class 12, section B, but now the new data is class 11, section C. So the modification has been performed. So this is how this is how, friends, we perform deletion and modification in binary file. I hope this video has made it clear to you. Thank you.